Okay, good evening, community. I will be chairing this evening's meeting as Chief Hill is in Toronto at the Roma Conference. We also have regrets from Councillor Wright, Councillor Thomas, and we have in the chambers, Councillor Frazier, Councillor Hill, guests, and everybody else is online. So welcome. Let's start this evening's General Council with identification of media.
Donna from the Two-Row Times.
Perfect. Thanks, Donna. Alrighty. At this time, before we get into the adoption of the agenda, I'm going to give the floor over to our Chief Executive Officer, Darren Jameson, to do an introduction of our newest team member. Go ahead, Darren.
Nyawa, Michelle. Good evening, everyone and community. Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to formally introduce Holly Smith as our Director for Service Excellence. And it's a new role. As some of you know, and most of you know, we had done a review of the organization to look at areas where we can strengthen our ability to plan and organize and actually provide better services to the community. And this is a key element to that package. And we now have a really strong team within the CEO's office to inform any changes that we make with service delivery. Really in the context, I wanted to just briefly pause on this and say, we're moving away from just delivering services on behalf of other governments. We are here to build the nation of 6 nations. And part of that is understanding the data, understanding the outcome measures that are really impacting our community at all different groups, youth, elders, and everyone in the community. And this element of the team is really an important piece of the puzzle and really the key piece of the puzzle. I have a bit of a bio, Chair. I'm going to just kind of quickly go through, and I'm going to turn it over to Holly, and she can talk a little bit about herself. She's from 6 Nations, and she's got a lot of passion and enthusiasm that she's bringing to the team. So we're really excited about her addition to our team. So Holly, she's Mohawk. She's Turtle Clan from 6 Nations, as I mentioned. She's had over 11 years of clinical and leadership experience in mental health and addiction field, as well as an occupational therapist. She has a Master of Science in Occupational Therapy and is a Master of Health Management degree from McMaster as well. I think this coming out of the pandemic, I think it's a really key area for us to support not only our community members but our staff as well in some of the changes that we're working through. She's worked most of her career with the Center of Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto across various departments, research, evaluation, and clinical program management, both urban as well as the general public, Indigenous populations. She draws upon her lived and clinical experiences in the practice and her approach to the community. She has lots of areas, interest in healing from complex and intergenerational trauma, resilience, and mental health education. So we're really excited to have her as part of our team. And maybe I'll let her talk a little bit more about herself and her enthusiasm for the role. Holly, over to you.
Thank you, Darren. Yeah, not much more to add other than that bio that you had read out there, but it's really great to be back in the community and working for a community. Like Darren had mentioned, I've been in Toronto for the past 10 years or so, working in mental health and addiction field. My background is in occupational therapy, and I've done a lot of work in on the front line, clinical work with occupational therapy, and in a leadership management role as well. And I'm really excited for this opportunity to be in this brand new role and to work alongside community members and people that are familiar faces and who have had a big part in my growth and development as a young person as well. So I want to acknowledge that. And it's always been a passion and a dream of mine to come back to the community and to support and work for community. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity And I'm looking forward to doing a lot of great work with the community and looking at how we can improve the services that we have, and so that the community has access to the best possible care and the best possible service. And so, yeah, I'll leave it at that. And thank you so much.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, Holly, and welcome back home.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will just move right into our agenda. So thanks, Darren and Holly, for being with us this evening. And I know, I think, Darren, you are signing off tonight. So with that, let's go to the adoption of the agenda. Is there anything to add to tonight's agenda? Seeing no hands, hearing no one. Do I have someone who will move tonight's agenda? Moved by Audrey. Do I have a seconder? Second by Sherry Lynn. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, so we have our first delegation. It is Bell Canada. So Brooke, if you can let them into the room, that would be great. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi there. Okay, well, welcome. I'm Councillor Bomberry, and I am chairing this evening's council meeting. And I'd like to welcome you. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name.
Oh, no worries. You could just call me Vid.
Okay, Vid. Alrighty. So you're here you're going to do a brief presentation?
Yeah, just a brief like conversation on why we want to come to the Six Nations of Grand River. And then I remember Shirley said if any questions or concerns to discuss that.
Okay, so Vid, I'm going to give you the floor. You can do your brief presentation, and
Yeah.
then I will open it up to questions. Over to you.
For sure. Okay, so I'm Vid from Bell Canada. I'm part of the permit team and the community affairs team. On the phone, I have my colleague, Essa Zabana, and he's also part of the permit team. So we submitted an application for the solicitation application from Bell Canada, and we would like to come to the Six Nations of Grand River just to inform the residents of the services and technology we have available. So we have one of the leading wireless home internet packages that can help the residents. And we believe it's a benefit for the residents, for anyone really, for kids, families, businesses who need stable, secure internet to help them have all the resources and information they need and to just be connected to their loved ones. So our representatives, we would like to say, our Bell ambassadors, they're all have their police background checks submitted to the community, and they just want to come and inform the residents about the services and say, hey, we have great wireless home internet and satellite TV if they're interested. If not, perfectly fine, but just to make sure we get the word out there. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for that brief presentation. And so for the community, Bell Canada is here. They're looking to provide service, as you heard, through the internet. I know you provide telephone. So is there questions from the council?
I have a couple.
Okay, I have Greg,
Yeah.
Gary, and Audrey. So over to you, Greg.
Welcome to our council meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Vid. Just a couple of questions. One is, how are you going to go about providing this information to the community? And,
So
go
sorry.
ahead. Yes, go ahead.
So providing the information, it is going door to door. So we have specific representatives that we have selected, and they would go door to door to the specific homes, I would say, which are capable of having the technology. And just first, they would knock on the door. If the resident answers, then they would ask if they would want to discuss any services or technologies that Bell has to offer. And if the resident would like to, they would continue to explain the services. If the resident does not want to, then our representative would leave the premise and go to the next door.
Yeah, because I think our community might be apprehensive to that.
Okay.
The other thing is that I think the community has to be well informed of what
Yeah.
you're doing. And I think it would be in council's best interest, I guess, to get the word out and see that would be an accepted way of, I guess, getting the information.
For sure.
But that's just, it's my comments. Thank you. Thank you for the information.
No, that's great.
And also we can
Okay.
provide you the
Carrie?
addresses.
Yeah. Vid,
Hi, Carrie. Yeah.
is this a new thing that you're doing? Because, well, one of your tech people came to my place twice
Mhm.
last year,
Mm-hmm.
try and connect me to internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some of your flyers in the mail.
Okay, yeah. So it is one of the, I guess, many ways we would like to tell our information. So the permit we would like to acquire is just to make sure we have the right permit, the right license to come into the Six Nations, but it is to come door to door. But we do also send mail and send flyers.
Yeah, because actually
Mhm.
Bell called me up to say
Yeah,
that they wanted to come over to see if they could get a connection or service here. And I
Yeah.
said, well, you guys were here 6 months ago and you couldn't
Mhm.
find anything.
okay.
The guy said he would come back, so he did come back with that real
Mhm.
long pole that he was walking all over the place, but he couldn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're also like, because we have satellite,
Yeah.
we have a landline
Mhm.
and 2 mobile phones.
Yeah.
So that's
And
just,
yeah, and the specific, I would say, product or service that we would want to offer is the wireless home internet one. And that's the one where we don't have to connect via the land or use any wires, where we would just connect an antenna to the home and it would use the cell towers around to provide the wireless home internet. Was that something that the tech was referring to, or were they referring to in the land services?
yeah, that's what it was. It was wireless. He was pointing towards Caledonia area. He said, we have a tower there.
Okay.
And I think he that was about the only direction that he was pointing at. And
Okay.
he couldn't get nothing at
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah.
that's it pretty well
Yeah.
ended that way.
Yeah, and that's something that we are expanding on, I would say, is that every day, every year, we're focusing on increasing the homes that can have that technology. So in the Six Nations area, there are a lot of homes that could have the technology, and some we are trying to implement that as well. So as time passes, maybe I guess the specific home, your home, may not have it right now, but in the future, that's what we are aiming towards. And I would say it should come sometime, but the ones that do have, that's where we want to get the information out, Carrie. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Question.
sharing, Carrie.
Audrey? Audrey, you're on mute.
Thanks, Michelle. I was just reaching for the button.
Hi, Audrey.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
A couple of questions is, I had the same one as Greg did, and that was, how are you going to get the information from our people? And the other question is, we're heading towards fiber. Are you
Yes.
talking about fiber as well? And my next question, who is this Joy's Codavell?
Codavelo Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Joy's Codavelo Joy is one of our representatives, our Bell ambassadors, who we submitted the application for with the background check to see if we get approved, and he would be one of the ambassadors that would come and inform the residents. So
Did you send yours
mentioned,
in?
sorry?
Did you send your police check in?
Mine, no, so I wouldn't be coming into the municipality, so I'm submitting the forms for the ones who are. But if you do need mine, I can submit that as well. and send that in. So the ones that we have sent in, I believe it's about 4, those are the ambassadors that we would like to have come into the community. They're all been checked by the police and to make sure they get the word out. And to add to Greg's, what was mentioned to Greg is the door-to-door agents would come in, inform the residents who have the capability of getting the wireless home internet, and they would go door to door. If not, they would leave a flyer. If the resident answers and wants to have the conversation, the ambassador is open to it. If the resident does not want to have the conversation, the ambassador is okay with that as well, and will leave the premise immediately.
So will you let the council know when you're going to be and your people, if it's approved, to be on the territory?
So yeah, it all comes down to when we are approved and what duration is allowed, I would say. So I'm not sure in the application if a duration was given to how long we are allowed to be in the area. So once we know that, I would say a couple weeks from now, if we were approved, we would let you know that, hey, we're coming in this area. These are the areas we're going to. Any information that you need from us of specific streets or specific homes that we're going to, we're able to provide. And yeah, it's within a couple weeks, I would say, if approved. And for how long is really up to you to say how long you would want us there. Usually we come in for weeks at a time or months at a time, but if not, a week or 2 to start to see how it goes.
Well, your application form says it begins on December 5th, 2022.
Yes. Oh, this was the
And
first
it
one.
ends on the 30th day of December, 2022.
Yes. So this was
Was this like
the
an old
first.
application form?
Yeah, so this was the first application submitted to Shirley, and at that time, I wasn't able to come to the general council. However, a week ago, I submitted the 5 new applications with the new dates. So we're looking for around a month's time. I can pull up the dates or forward it to you specifically if I get your information down. Then, yeah, it was submitted last week. I'm not
Okay,
sure
and
if it was
What
forwarded.
are you doing with fiber? I guess is my last question.
Fiber is something we're working towards. So it is being rolled out across the country. And it all really comes down to how fast we roll it out. It is a very, very massive project for sure. And rolling it out, fiber, bringing it to the community, I'm sure is in the pipeline. I myself may not have the answer as to when exactly it would come to the area, but that is something I can look into. And another thing I want to mention is that me reaching out or me coming on the meeting is for you to also have a contact within Bell for any questions, any concerns. So fiber is a great question and when it may come to the area, so I can take that back as well and look at that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And
we-
Hazel,
We have one more question. Go ahead, Hazel.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to ask, what is the cost of your internet service?
yeah, so the cost really does vary. So after this meeting, I will send an updated list of exactly what offers we have and specific services. But what I can tell you right now is the wireless home internet is up to 50 megabytes per second, but I can get the cost for you, Hazel. And specifically, if we can send that directly to you or the whole council meeting or Shirley to be distributed.
So do you do not have an average of the low and then
Average,
the
yeah,
high of the
I can get-
average?
I can get that for you right now. Let me quickly
Okay.
get that for you.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Hazel. And
No
thanks.
worries.
I'm not
That-
quite done.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I will get that right now. So this is what we have on our Bell website. But the offers that the ambassadors do provide may differ. They do have some promotions available, or if the customer or if the resident would like to know about the service. But this is what's on the website. Our 25 megabytes per second internet is starting at $60 a month. and our 25 megabytes internet plus satellite TV is starting at $94.95. But this is to say that these are not the exact prices. The prices do have promotions, and the ambassador will be able to answer those questions at the door. And sorry, Hazel, I think you had another question.
I guess the next question would be the fiber optic that would be required eventually. So
Mhm.
do you install fiber optic here on the reserve? Or
So
would you be using someone else's fiber optic?
that is a good question. I will have to take that exactly back if we ourselves would install fiber optics or if it is another party that will install that. Yeah, that's a great question. But it is something I'm sure we're looking forward to in the future, but I will get that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Hazel, for your question.
Mhm.
Okay, and we have Sherry Lynn who has a comment.
Hi,
I still
Sherry Lynn. Oh, hey.
there's a few more questions, and
Yeah.
especially going door to door. That's a little concerning.
Mhm.
And what's the liability in case something happens? And I think also too that I think we defer this, and Tammy does a little more research in
Mhm.
what's going on, but also your higher ups to know the plan, the doing this, because this is the first time Bell is doing this, going door to door,
Mm.
but especially yeah, coming in soliciting, and not, I don't want people badgering the
For sure.
members and things like that, because it won't go well.
For sure.
So
For sure.
I think we defer this, and it goes to the chief's office for them to do more information, to find more information. That's
Yeah.
just my.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you, Sherry.
thanks, Sherilyn. And so at this time, we have one comment to defer. Council, what do you think? Greg, Audrey?
Yes, defer, please.
So Vid, thank you for doing your presentation. At this time,
Yeah.
we will defer your matter.
Yeah.
We'll have the chief staff do some more follow-up.
Thank you. And also, when you follow up, any questions at all, whether it's concerns about residents or liability or anything, just let us know and we will have our answer to that. But thank you. Thank you all for having me on this meeting.
Thank you very
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. Have a good evening.
You as well. Okay, council. So moving right along to our second delegation. So Jeff Thomas, First Nations Cable. He does send his regrets, but he also provided an update. So I'm going to read that update and then we will have him to the next general council meeting. Sorry, I can't make tomorrow's meeting. Here's where we're at. We had to submit a financial statement created by a neutral third party. They've hired the Albert Group to do the statements, which have been completed and are being resubmitted to the UBF group today. So they've been working with RBC and EDC to raise their bridging loan to cover the beginning of the project, which will be cash deficit until they can recover their first claim. The government is proposing to allow them to submit their claims monthly as opposed to the quarterly or the 3-month period. So this will help the project move along immensely. As far as the project goes, Jeff indicates that they just got their materials delivered, which were ordered last year, April. And so their contractors are ready to go. They are expecting to lay the pipe in March or as soon as the project contract is signed. So that's it for now, and he will be in touch with us as soon as he hears back from the UBF group. So that's his update. And like I said, he will be at a subsequent council meeting. Do we need to accept that? This information? Moved by Sherry Land to accept Jeff's from First Nations Cable report. Seconder is Greg. All in favor?
Favor.
Motion is carried. Okay, Moving right along to our next delegation, we have in the council chambers, Carl Hill and Kathy Bomber from the Cannabis Commission. So if you want to come up in front of the, oh, you got it? Yeah. Thank you.
Let me move this way.
So for the community, Carl is a commission member on the Cannabis Commission. Same with Kathy. They're here to present their newest commission member. And we will, are you reading the VCR? Okay. Yeah, over to you, Carl.
Go ahead, Carl.
Good evening, council. I'm here on a recommendation from the commission, and we already met my colleague Kathy. So I have the resolution here in front of me. So whereas the Six Nation Cannabis Commission has completed the vetting process, is recommending David Moses be a commissioner, and whereas the Six Nations of the Grand River Elective Council has authority to appoint commissioners to the Six Nations Cannabis Commission. Therefore, be it resolved that the Six Nations Elective Council accept the recommendation from the Six Nation Cannabis Commission and appoint David Moses as a commissioner effective immediately.
Okay, thank you for that, Carl. Audrey, here's your movie.
Could you, is David there with you now? And Kathy, could we see them, please?
Oh, sorry, I did the wrong one.
There you go.
Where's Kathy,
There's-
Carl?
there's
It's really
Carl.
good to see you. There's Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, the camera's going all over the place.
Well, I can't be cruising out.
That's good. Where's David?
If ever, no, David's not here.
Okay.
He's not-
Well, Michelle, I think it's a really good idea. I think he'll make a good commissioner, so I'll move on that. Carl, nice haircut. Love it.
Okay,
I'll second that. I'll second that with a question.
go ahead, Carrie.
Yeah. Carl, so with that addition, how many commissioners do you have now?
Go ahead.
4.
Okay, that's good.
We have one more spot left.
Okay, that's good. I second that, Michelle.
Okay, so I have Audrey moving, Carrie second. Helen, you have a question?
Well, it's been a while since we've seen the commission, so who are the 4 members? I can't remember.
Well, there's me, myself, Carl, Kathy, Bunbury, my colleague, and Kathy Meir. She's away right now, and
This one, like
and
David.
David will be the 4th one.
Carl, who was the one you said after Kathy Bomberry?
Kathy Mayer.
Yeah,
So Carl, Kathy Bomberry, Kathy Mayer, and David. That's the 4.
Yep.
Okay, now.
Thanks.
Okay. So with that, we have a mover and we have a seconder. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Does anybody oppose? Hearing no opposition, your motion is carried. Waive second reading, moved by Audrey.
I'll second.
Carrie, do you second? Good. All in favor? Anybody oppose? Motion is carried. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Kathy, for coming this evening. We will look forward to your update very soon. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Good night. Okay, so let's move along, council. We have number 5, adoption of the general council minutes of January 10th. I hope everybody's had an opportunity to read through them.
Yep.
Moved by Helen. Do I have a seconder on those minutes? Second by Greg. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Those minutes are passed. Okay. We have a Rogers Internet letter of support. So I will read this, or Tammy, did you want to? 'Cause you're gonna
Yeah,
speak to it.
I can just let council know, this is just some follow-up that was, when the council asked, I think well before Christmas, about connecting those people who were along the New Credit Six Nations boundary, because they were aware that New Credit is being connected by Rogers through fiber. And so we did reach out to them, and they, one of the things that they asked was for a letter from the council, just giving, so that they could amend the contracts, provided that they're still in the area. So it's very timely to have this passed by or approved by council. If otherwise we may miss the window, which I guess has its pros and cons. So that's just a little bit of background on what this is about.
Okay, thanks, Tammy. So does anybody have
Michelle,
questions? Carrie, go ahead.
Tammy, so by us having this letter with Rogers, we didn't need anything from New Credit, did we? Because the original contract with Rogers is with New Credit through their Ledcor. I think Ledcor is a contractor. It was strictly with Rogers that we're having an agreement with.
Yeah, at this time, yeah, it was Rogers who would be installing the fiber. So, and because it would be strictly on our territory, that would be why they already have the resources there in this area, doing work in that area. So that's why they figured if we could piggyback on that work, then it would be most cost effective as well as timely to get that done.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, they haven't required us to get an agreement with New Credit.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have any other questions in regards to the letter of support? Okay, so at this time, does anybody want to move this motion?
I'll move that, Chair.
Thank you, Carrie. A seconder?
I'll second Michelle. It's Hazel.
Go ahead, Hazel. What did you second? Sorry. What was
Yeah.
it? Okay. So we have a mover and a seconder, all in favor? Does anybody oppose? Seeing or hearing none, that motion is carried. Waive second reading, Tammy?
I'll move.
Thank you,
I'll
Carrie.
second.
Thank you,
I'll
Hazel.
second.
All in favor? Anybody oppose? Motion is carried. Okay, thanks for that, Tammy. And we can move forward with that. So moving along on our agenda is counselor reports. So counselors, I don't have a list of who has been attending the meetings. Does anybody have a report to share with community? I know we shared reports yesterday too, so it's kind of, we have 2 meetings in a row, so I'm sure Chief Hill will update us when he's back next week. Okay, so moving on.
Michelle?
Go ahead, Helen.
Oh, I just wanted to report that myself and Greg and Sherry Linda attended the opening announcement for the Habitat for Humanity building project with Six Nations today.
Yeah.
Building, I think it's the 6 or 7
5
unit apartment building. Behind Harold Lane's there in the partnership with the Habitat for Humanity and the Grand River Development Corporation. So it was a good opening. We went to the hall after and had some donuts and some coffee and tea, and Greg spoke up on behalf of the chief, and he did a really good job.
Thank you, Greg.
One of the one of the heads of the Habitat for Humanity committee liked they liked Greg's words. He had real good words, they said. So he did ace.
Well,
He's a
that's
hobnobber. So he's a hobnobber. He was all over talking to everybody. So
good. And thank you to all three of you for attending this afternoon. It was cold, but it was good. It was short, right? So thank you. Okay, then let's move right along to scheduling. So we have our first recommendation 8.1 that the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council approve Councillor Sherry Lynn Hill and Greg Frazier to attend the Six Nations of the Grand River Development Corporation First Investor Forum on Thursday, February 2nd, 2023 in downtown Toronto. Okay. It's from 3:30 till 7:30. Audrey, are you moving?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Do I
You're
have a
welcome.
seconder? We need someone to second Audrey's motion.
I'll second Hazel.
Thanks, Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion is carried. Thank you. Recommendation number 2. That the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council approve Councillor Sherry Lynn Hill and Greg Frazier to attend gaming policy meeting scheduled for February 10th to the 12th, 2023 in Niagara Falls at the Hilton Falls View Hotel and Suites. Do I have a mover for their travel?
I have I'll move with a question.
Okay, Helen, and do I have a seconder? And then we'll go to your question.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Gary. Go ahead, Helen.
So is this gaming policy meeting
Your annual.
for our gaming commission, or is this something different?
It's their annual policy review meeting.
Is their annual policy review? Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion is carried. Okay. We have recommendation 8.3. Who's going? Okay, that the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council appoint delegates to attend the Chiefs of Ontario's 17th Annual Health Forum taking place on February 28th to March 1st, 2023 in downtown Toronto. So
Michelle.
who's willing to attend?
Michelle, I had a call from Melba this afternoon. She wants to go, and I'm going to put my name in as well.
Okay, so we have Councillor Thomas, Councillor Johnson. Audrey, are you moving?
Yes, I'm interested, please.
You're interested as well. Okay,
Michelle,
Gary?
on that recommendation, it says February 28th, March. Is that 1 day, 2 days, or
I
there's
thought
no
it was-
day on?
Yeah, there is no date, but I was just talking to Sherry Lynn. It's 3 days, so it's March 1st. Where's the March 2nd?
March 1st and 2nd?
Yeah, because there is no 29th. I know, because my granddaughter was born on a leap year.
Tammy? Thanks, Carrie.
I want to remind council that you have set the budget meetings for February 28th, March 1st and March 2nd as well. So that'll affect the recommendation 8.4 as well as 5, or sorry, 8.3 and 8.5 if council wishes to send a delegate.
Michelle, it's Audrey.
Go ahead, Audrey.
In light of that, I'll remove my name from the health forum. I'll stay back for budgeting. Thank you.
I'll stay back as well, Michelle.
Michelle,
Okay, Carrie?
is there anybody that would maybe from the health department that we could delegate to go?
Well,
I'm thinking this is where the chief and they'll likely be going.
I think it would be Elena.
Yeah. Land would be
Laurie
cool.
Davis Hill used to go to these things. So
Yeah.
what should be Elena going?
Lana and her staff go. So then do
Yeah.
we remove this as a recommendation to send chief and council because we will be in budget days those days?
Yeah,
Right.
Okay. So let's just pass 8.3. Let's move to 8.4. That is that the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council appoint delegates to attend the First Nations Women's Leadership Summit taking place on March 7th to the 9th, 2023 in Toronto. So does somebody want to attend that summit?
7th and 9th. I'll go.
Okay,
If nobody else wants to go.
anybody
Maybe
else?
You can learn quite a bit at these kinds of things.
Okay, that's awesome. You volunteered, Helen. So Helen will go, moved by Sherry Lynn. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Audrey. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion is carried. Okay, so then the last one will be, maybe we can send Rod to that one or Julia as opposed to council because we will be in budget days. Council, what do you think about that? There will be someone attending, but yeah, we'll all be together that last week. Okay, so with that, can I have waiving?
Can I ask a question about the last one? Like, this is in the US, right?
Mhm.
I just wondered the relevance to us. I know climate change is all over, but what relevance would it be for us to go to Washington?
Yeah, chief and council isn't going.
Good.
So Tammy, who put this on? For chief and council.
Sorry, that was actually something that we did add to the agenda because that was something that chief was considering going, but because it does clash with the budget days meeting, there was an invite that came from the chief asking to share some of I guess words from what we're doing around here in our community. So I think you're right, Michelle. If Darren or chooses to send Rod or another delegate from the
Okay,
Environment Committee, I think that would be a good idea.
okay. Thank you, Tammy. So we will need waiving of second reading on 8.1, 8.2, 8.4. Moved by
I'll move.
Sherry Lynn, second by Helen. All in favor? Motion is carried. Oh wait, did anybody oppose? I missed that. Okay, motion is carried. Alrighty, council. So now we are at the community safety portion of the agenda. And tonight we have Jen Mount Pleasant online with us. She leads the Six Nations Anti-Bullying Task Force. And so she's provided us with the terms of reference, and I'm hoping everybody has an opportunity to read the terms of reference. She is here for that approval. So Jen, maybe if you can just do a very quick high level presentation on the terms of reference for the community. Are you able to do? Yeah, there we go. Good.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, not page by page, just
Yeah.
high level.
Yeah, it is a lengthy document. I'm just going to
Purpose, yeah, the purpose statement, who's meeting.
yeah. So the purpose statement is for the Six Nations Anti-Bullying Task Force terms of reference, addressing and preventing lateral violence on Six Nations of the Grand River Territory will require a commitment that ensures we are all working together to address colonial, social, cultural, and ecological factors that are root causes of violence within many Indigenous communities, with the goal of enhancing social, cultural, and environmental pillars of success in reducing violence. We in turn foster and enhance nation building. The recommendations of the Six Nations Anti-Bullying Task Force will support a broad, community-driven, community-owned, and collaborative approach to prevent lateral violence and bullying built upon a strong foundation of Haudenosaunee values, as well as universal principles of restorative justice and peaceful resolutions. The Six Nations Anti-Bullying Task Force recommendations will encourage community partnerships that create and nurture safe spaces where all community members feel secure and accepted when participating in the educational, social, and cultural life of the community of Six Nations of the Grand River. So this is the current structure of the task force. We are taking a phased approach, which means that as the task force moves forward in the work that it's going to be doing, we may create other working groups or subcommittees. But right now, we have a core team. So the core team oversees the work of the entire task force. It guides the work, makes sure that all the working groups, all the subcommittees are staying on track. We currently have 2 working groups. One is bullying in schools. The other is workplace lateral violence. We have one subcommittee called the Point of Contact Subcommittee, which acts as the liaison between the task force and community members. That's the vision mandate. Our values are there. The term just basically says that this is the work that we're going to be doing as a task force, at which point, because task forces are not permanent structures, at some point we will disband, and that's after we complete all the work that we set out to do. The functions of the task force. So this is basically the scope. This is what we're going to be doing. A lot of it is working with agencies. We're going to be analyzing programs and services that are already in place that help address lateral violence and bullying, reviewing policies, existing policies, analyzing these programs, identifying gaps. Community consultation and engagement. We're planning on doing quite a few events in spring and summer to directly engage and consult with community. Those will be public events open for everybody. This is just our membership, our current membership. We have wide representation from the community. This just lists what representation we currently have on the task force. So Aboriginal Legal Services, Brant Haldeman Norfolk Catholic District School Board. We have community representation, Ganokosha, Federal Schools, McMaster University, all quite a few different council departments, programs, justice program, Six Nations Police, Polytech, and Six Nations Youth Council. This is just a code of conduct that we established for ourselves. So it's like an internal code of conduct, how we are to treat each other, you know, like just basically respect each other, use a good mind. Conflict of interest. Confidentiality is big with the task force. We had all committee members sign confidentiality forms. Community and agency partner engagement strategies. We outlined that in detail as well. Internal, external communication procedures. And this is our current core team. We have Amy Warner, Barbro, Jesse Gartshore, Joe Martin, Joe Slezak, Catherine Hill, Larry Longboat, Lady Cano, Mike Freeman, Michael Hill, Nanda Garlow, Natasha Slezak, Trevor Bomberry, and Wendy Hill. And that is a high-level overview of the terms of reference.
Okay, thank you, Jen. So at this time, council, does anybody have questions in regards to the terms of reference? Helen?
I think it's all good work, but biggest concern I have is I never seen principals and teachers involved in any way. And I think that's going to be the most critical part of this anti-bullying initiative. So is there a reason why they're not involved in any of this?
That's something that you would have to talk to the director of federal schools.
See, this is what I
they have-
mean, Janet. It's already being separated. It's not going to work if we don't have the principals and teachers on board. So we need to talk to, what's his name? Travis, because it's not going to work if they're not on board. Anything we've ever tried to do with bullying over the years has not worked because the teachers and principals have not been on board. And that's where it all starts. When children get bullied, they go to the principal and they're saying the principal isn't doing anything. They need to be involved. So council is
point.
really going to have to get on Travis Anderson to say, we need this to work. We want this to work. We've gotten too many complaints in the community about bullying in our schools. We have to all work together if we want to try and fix or try and help things to make them better. And Jen, you guys did a lot of good work. I see a lot of good, organizations and people on the task force. But all I'm saying is if we're not working together, it's going to be hard to make anything work for the beneficial of our students in our community. So this is what we got to do. We got to sit down with Travis and say, we want this all encompassing.
Yeah, and so we brought Travis in last month to our general council meeting. And I think we need to continue to chat with him. So thanks, Helen. Audrey?
Yeah, I agree with Helen, and I think that they should have been working together all along, right from the beginning. Because there's a lot of good work being done in the schools, and the teachers are doing, for the most part, a great job. There are things that can be improved, and bullying is one of them that we need to have more skills with our kids and throughout the schools and how to handle all of that, including cyberbullying. So I think that the administration's team have to be involved with, it's called the PAC, Principals Advisory Committee. And they should be meeting with us so that we can bring them on board. And we have to listen to them because a lot of them have some really good suggestions. The teachers, the TAs, even the schools clerks have good ideas on how to handle students with bullying, as well as we have the administration who do a great job, and we zone in on the stuff that's really negative, but there's a lot of good things happening too. So we have to listen to the administration, Travis, and also there are I guess they have policies and procedures they have to follow around too. And a lot of it is private, that confidentiality has to be there. And if we're going to make an impact on the kids, the parents have to be involved and the caregivers. They have to have a way of getting this all together. And I would prefer the word engagement because we're not really consulting with them, we're engaging with them. Lifelong learning is doing the same thing and trying to engage everyone. In fact, on February the 16th, we're meeting with I.L. Thomas School to go down and engage with the staff there. So we work better one-to-one. So the more that we can see and talk to the people, the better. So I think an engagement strategy has to be worked on here, as well as how do you involve all the other groups? That has to be worked out in this plan as well, unless you've already got it worked out. So yeah, communication is the biggest thing, and this is our chance to fix things. So I'm the chair of lifelong learning, and Michael has been sent to my place, but it'll be he and I in that position. So Jen, if you would add my name to your list, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Those are my statements. Yeah.
Sherry?
So I just have a quick question, Audrey. You said add your name to the list. Like, is that the core team or the working group or what list?
The core team might be better because like I've been an educator for over 42 years. So I have a wealth of knowledge as well that I can share. And that would be for everyone and how to organize and and engage with people. That engagement plan is so important, and we're working on our engagement plan right now also with lifelong learning. Now, any more, just ask me any questions you want or email me, please.
Okay, thank you.
Sherry Lynn?
I'm kind of the same lines as everybody else in the sense of the schools need to be involved. Because just sitting here, I got another bullying complaint regarding the school and asked if there has ever been an internal investigation into the schools regarding the bullying and lack of accountability with the adults who are in charge of the schools, because the bullying from the teachers, bullying from the principals, things like that. So I think this is a bigger issue that isn't being addressed. I think that it needs to be addressed more. So I would like to see Travis to come in, because this has been going on for years and it still seems the same old, same old. And that's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to our community members, especially these children getting bullied from the adults from this is what this is saying. So I hope that Jen, if you can get in contact with Travis to be able to sit at this table, that would be great. And also too, I gave them your number. I seen that quickly in your presentation. And also that council does bring Travis back in and discussing this, because I think around this table, Michelle and some others, it's getting not overwhelming, but it's constant that we're getting concerns regarding the bullying. If it's not the students, it's the teacher, it's the adults who are bullying. The teachers are bullying the parents. So we really need to get a handle on this. And I would like to see those follow-throughs, if that's possible. Thank you.
I would just like to quickly address that the task force is aware that principals and teachers need to be more involved in the task force, and we have spoken to Travis several times. I did go before the principals advisory committee a couple weeks back, but ultimately it's not up to the task force to force principals or vice principals to participate in the task force. Somebody had mentioned that, the teachers, they do have their own policies and they are unionized and they are protected under certain privacy laws. But I agree that we would really like to get more participation. I had approached the director of federal schools a couple times now to see if he can appoint more of his staff to the task force, but they have their own jobs, and they are, his staff are overworked. We do have a representative from federal schools on the core team. He also sits on the bullying in schools working group. But if chief and council are going to have discussions with the director, I ask that the task force be involved in those discussions, because as of now, we're not privy to those discussions. We don't know like the details. And so there's a little bit of, distance communication issues there as well.
Okay, thanks, Jen. And yes, there is work that we need to do. Sherry Lynn?
And for sure, Jen, I appreciate your comments. So I'd like to put a resolution on the floor that we ask Travis to come in and we discuss this, but also make sure that the task force is here and the concerns that are happening, but also how important it is to be a part of it within this community. That's my resolution. In the open session.
Okay, so we have that motion. Helen, are you seconding that motion?
Yeah, I'll second it with a comment. You can hear the separation already Just from what Jen's saying, like Travis, they got lots of work to do and they got this and they got that. And we have our own policies. Well, their policies aren't working. Otherwise, we wouldn't be getting all these complaints. But I can see it being separated already. They're not going to work with our task force, I guarantee you. But yet their policies aren't working because our kids are getting bullied. We have to do this together. We got to convince somebody that we have to do this together. It shouldn't be federal or Six Nations Council or federal or Jan's task force and somebody else's policies. We should all be working together. And that's what we have to try to achieve. And hopefully we can get that through Travis. But I think a lot of times, I think part of the problem is some of the principals and teachers don't think there's anything wrong with what they're doing. Their policies are working, but their policies aren't working. Otherwise, Sherry Lynn and everybody and myself and all you guys wouldn't be getting any complaints. So I'm just hoping for once we can get everybody together. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that we can do that. Anyway, I appreciate everything Jan's been doing on this and the task force and everything. And, everybody's really trying and everybody's concerned, but I don't know. I just hope it works.
I hear exactly what you're saying, Helen. With that, I have Sherry Lynn, Audrey, then Hazel.
Yeah, exactly, Helen. And I think that's the thing, we put him in open and let him tell the community. And if not, then I think we go higher up, because these are children's. This does a lot to their mental health. Even the adults. There's day school again, and it crushes me. It's 2023 and we're still having these kind of discussions. And then it's still having adults who are bullying these children. That's unacceptable. I don't care who anyway looks at it. And you're right. We have to come together. It's for the children. It's for for their betterment of the mental health, because I just think it's totally unacceptable. And you're right. Hopefully he'll attend. And if not, we'll go higher up, because this is our community and we need to help our kids, because when I see them crying and hurt, that's not right.
Thanks, Sherry Lynn. Okay, so I have, was it Audrey or who's it? Audrey, Hazel, Greg.
Hazel can go first. She had her hand up.
Sorry, okay, Hazel.
Okay, I'm starting to view this whole topic of bullying. It's not just specific to one area, say for instance, in the schools. It's all over the place. It's a pandemic called bullying. And I think if we keep trying to just call on certain people, like you're talking about bringing in Travis, fine, that's good. Can we get more people to come in various areas where the topic will be discussed amongst people from all walks of life? Because, yeah, I agree. I cannot hardly stand to see a child sad and suffering and crying when they've been bullied. Also, I've had a person come to me just recently, an employee who's crying because of how they feel from being bullied by their boss. So that's why I'm saying it's not specific to any one area. It's a pandemic of bullying. And I think we have to go broader, not just focusing on one area. And ultimately, the question will always be, why has it grown so bad? I know when we all went to school, you did have times when you had to endure some mistreatments. Actually, nothing was ever done about it. You'd tell your parents and not a whole lot would happen either, but I don't know. It's a pandemic that nobody has ever been able to solve. It's like this coronavirus. It just keeps popping its ugly head up over and over again. And I think we need to go broader with our ask to not just education, but in all walks of life, because there's gotta be reasons why if a person gets off on their day by going home and delighted with themselves if they made somebody feel bad. That's not right. It's actually sick. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thanks, Hazel. Over to Audrey, then Greg.
Okay, thanks very much. I think one of the things we have to do with any group we work with, we have to be basically get on the same side of the problem. The problem is bullying. Whether it's cyberbullying, it's in the workplace, whether it's at school. We have to approach people in such a way that we're asking them to come and help us solve this problem together so that we can break that division down. And when I asked a while ago about, we're doing it across like lifelong learning. So the bullying starts, they have to learn somewhere. So we have to hit all the areas where bullying starts and make sure that people understand what it is and how it hurts and how it scars people. And then we have to make sure that monitoring is going on and that people have a place to go to feel safe. And that's that engagement plan I was talking about. Who do we engage? How do we engage them? It just can't be a hit or miss stuff. This has to go on into 7 generations into the future. We didn't get here overnight like this. There wasn't this amount of bullying when I was in elementary school. There was some, but not to the extent there is today. So, and that's all that trauma-informed teaching that we have to do and approaches we have to use with our kids. They've been through so much. And it goes back to residential school. It goes back to 1924. It goes back to the 60s scoop. All that trauma our community has endured. We have to start helping them more than we are, especially with the wraparound services that we have. And I think one of the keys to this is using our language, whatever language you speak, and learning more of it, whether it's 1 word today and 2 words next week, and also our traditional Haudenosaunee values. And I think that is one of the key ones, because a lot of it is based on that good mind. And the good mind is what is best for the whole community. And then maybe we can give up some of that stuff of my, I want to be rich, and how do we help our community out? How do we help our kids out? Because they're all screaming right now for help by their actions. We have lost so many loved ones. And it's time we all got together to help our younger generations become the best they can be in the future generations. So basically, those are my thoughts at this point, but I really think we got to get back to all of our traditional ways of being, speaking, and carrying that good mind and how we treat each other with respect. Yeah.
I agree. Everybody needs to walk that talk. Over to you, Greg.
Yes, I agree with, it is a very sensitive issue. It's, I agree with all the counselors in their sentiments as well. But I put this to Travis the last time he was here as looking at the success and failure of his policies and what has been, and I didn't want to know names or anything like that. I don't think that's appropriate at all, because it should be very confidential. But I just wanted to know what state we're in as a community. Like how many cases do we have, and how are they resolved, and are they resolved, or are they in mediation? And so we can actually get a baseline of where we are, because it does seem to be on the rise. And at what rate? Well, maybe Travis would be able to provide that information, or his task force. So I agree, Travis or his task force should, yes, should come in and discuss it with us. But that was just my thoughts. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. So with that, we have a motion on the floor moved by Sherry Lynn and it was seconded by Helen. Is there any other comments in regards to bringing Travis in to an open session for follow-up? Audrey?
Yeah, I think we have to have it planned. The council has to meet ahead of time so that what we're gonna talk about, we should not be setting him up. We should be giving him what we want to talk about. Any background information should go to Travis so he has time to read it, and then we invite him in cordially. So that we give him the respect that everybody deserves on the reserve here. And everybody has an opinion, but it's how you share it. And people walk away with your message, not behavior. So, yeah,
And so I do believe there was follow-up from the first time he was here, so this is just bringing him back in regards to that. So he's well aware of, what's he? Oh, okay. And Jen, I'm not sure if you heard Counselor Hill, but she would like your team to be here when he returns. Okay, so any other questions in regards to the motion? Okay, all in favor? Does anybody oppose? Hearing none, that motion is carried. Sherilyn is waiving second reading. Do I have a seconder? Audrey?
yes, with a question. What I just mentioned, everybody, can we do that? Or does it not need to go into motion? To get all the topics, us meet, get all the topics we want to discuss and the background information and share that with Jen's group and share that with Travis and whoever he brings and share it with all of council. So we all are talking about the same thing. Can that be done?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, who will organize that?
The chief's office.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're waiving second reading. It was moved by Sherry Lynn, second by Audrey. All in favor? Anybody oppose? Motion is carried. So thanks, Jen. Your terms of reference have been passed and we've actually done a little bit more. So we will see you back at a subsequent general council meeting.
Great, thanks, everybody.
Take care. Have a good night. So with that, we didn't have any additions to tonight's agenda, so I am looking for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Helen, second by Greg, all in favor. That motion is carried. Alrighty, community, you have a good night.